welcome back to my channel. This is Teresa's Crafty Cabana, and today I wanted to show you a template that I made like a stencil with using SVG cuts. It's a company online. This is Mary runs this company. She makes all these designs, and I used her hot air balloon file here to create my stencil. I ended up using the base of the hot air balloon and then the little designs on top for this technique. You can just do the single layer if you want something less complicated. This wasn't that bad though. I'll show you how I did it all. So first I cut it out. I have a Cameo, so if you have a Cricut, whatever machine, if you have a cutting machine you can use to cut it out. You could even hand cut, but it would just take a long time. So this is just the base template for me, and I use those inside little balloon pieces, so I didn't want to get rid of those. To start, I'm going to use this outer design, just the outlines of the balloons, and then these other balloons I'm going to keep because I'm going to use them to make the little different colors, to layer different colors. Now, I don't have pan pastels, but a lot of my viewers have said that pan pastels do really well on the Gelli Plate, so I'm just gonna try these. I have soft pastels. I had tried the chalk, artist chalk, on another video, and I thought that did a really good job, so I wanted to see if these would do a good job as well. And for any of you out there that are wondering, maybe this is a video for you to see how they work. I'm just lining this up. This is an 8x10 Gelli Plate. It's a gel press Gelli Plate. And I did clean my gel press with some baby oil before I started so that everything will stick to it nicely. I'm just kind of doing like a puzzle piecing here where I am figuring out where these little balloons fit, and that little opening, the sky, I guess, is what's showing through. That's kind of what I'm going for this part. I just wanted to make that little sky piece blue. Because of the chalk, it will create kind of a resist, sort of. So whatever you put over it, it kind of works its way around it once that color has stuck to the plate. So I'm using this light blue, kind of sky blue color. I couldn't get the color off just by rubbing it very easily, so I have this little scraper. It's really just a razor from Dollar Tree in their tool section. So I just used my little razor here, and I just was scraping away on some of that pastel, and that helped to loosen up. Now, it wasn't easy for me to see with this color. I couldn't tell if it was really getting on the plate or not at this point. So I just went ahead and filled in all those little squares with this color, and then I'm going to remove all of the little balloons and add the little decorative pieces, so that as I'm layering on the pastel colors, I can do multiple colors versus just one color all throughout. So on this particular technique, I had done another short video where I did something similar with mushrooms from the same company, SVG Cuts. She had a really cute mushroom, and that particular mushroom design had an outline, then it had the mushroom, and it had the little circles in the top part. So I did something similar to what I'm doing here with the mushrooms, and I thought that one turned out really cute. So now I wanted to see these hot air balloons, if I could mix and match some of the pastel and some of the perfect pearls. So I'll show you what that ends up looking like. Here I'm going to do like almost like a puzzle. I'm trying to make sure each of these little pieces fit inside these little balloons, until I find the piece that fits correctly, and then I'll go ahead and put some color on. I am using the colors that are part of the file as inspiration. I used a pink, a kind of bluish green, and a yellow and orange, I think. I really like this design right here with the I don't know if that's rope or whatever that's supposed to be, but that was my favorite hot air balloon design of these, just because it had so much interest. And when I finished putting the perfect pearls on top of that one, it looked really cool. Now on this part, I couldn't figure out, this is a layered die cut set. So when she has it in her set, she's actually using like a banner piece and then this little bunting. Well, I decided to just use the bunting on these because I had limited stickiness, I guess. But I guess I could, if you wanted to get more creative, you could put more layers down and try getting different techniques or different looks. So I'm trying to still figure out how much of this chalk or pastel I need to be able to see the color. So I kind of scraped quite a bit, and then I'm just kind of layering it. Right now I'm trying to color in the baskets, and I'm just going to make all the baskets brown. Some of the powder was falling into my other balloons and whatnot, but you know what? It adds to the distressed look of it, so it was okay. In the end, I blended everything out, and you couldn't even really tell, so that was all right for me. But one thing I was learning as I was doing this is, and you'll see when I start with the pink one, it's just easier to take that little powder and kind of scoop it to where I'm going to be working and then blend it out. For whatever reason, it just blended out better when there was like a blob of it on the gel plate. Once it was in the brush, it was just having a harder time moving around. So I'm going to pick this really pretty bright pink for my pink balloons. And I'm only doing a light scraping to get the powder moving. And here's where I just dumped that powder to where I was working, and it just worked a lot easier that way. It also made it less messy overall because most of the powder was dropped in that one working area. I wanted to do a little bit of a fade to a darker color on this one, so I picked a red color to put on the outer edges of the balloon. And I think it blended really nicely. In order for this to work, you do have to leave some of the gel plate stickiness showing. And you can rub the color right on top of it, but once you pull it, whatever color is down on the plate is what you're gonna see. That's basically, the plate side is the front side. This part right here that you're seeing me working is the back side. So it's okay if you make the colors blend right on top. And it really worked nicely with this little stencil. I just pulled that little piece off just to make sure it was all working out okay. And then this one is the yellow one that I'm gonna do. For this one, I'll do yellow and I'll mix in some orange for a little bit of a shading color. Now, if you're wanting to try a simpler version of this too, you could probably, if you have die cuts of hot air balloons, or just whatever you like to cut out. I've done this with leaves, I've done it with a cloud stencil, mountain edger stencil, whatever design you think looks good. I'm pretty sure you can try on this technique. So some people like the shiny and some people prefer the matte. I personally prefer the shiny only because it actually stands out when I'm looking at it. The matte colors, and maybe if I have a really light background color, the matte colors would be better for me, but you'll see I put blue over the back of this to make it look like a sky, and the matte colors did get a little bit lost. So I do prefer, if I'm going to do a darker background color, I do prefer the pearls. So for this last little balloon set, I'm going to do this kind of aqua teal colored blue in the middle, and then on the outer parts of this one I'm going to do that lime green color. So as I'm finishing up the green and blue balloons, next I'm going to take off all those little inside template pieces and reveal what's left of the Gelli plate. I already think it looks cool, so at this point I was already excited. And this is where I wanted to add my perfect pearls. So since I had the chalk color already, or the pastel color down, I wanted to use colors that were similar in each of the balloons, so I used this kind of an coppery orange color for that yellow and orange balloon in the center. This color on this balloon was my favorite, because you'll see after the print is pulled, it just stands out so nicely and it makes it look a lot more 3D, just having the matte color and the pearl color together. I'm doing a pretty big heaping of this, and again, because the chalk is already on the Gelli plate, even if I mix my perfect pearls over the chalk, it's not going to overtake it. I am cleaning my brush in between. I just have a little rag and I'm just brushing it off pretty well in between so I don't mix my colors too much. I did this little pink powder for the pink balloons. And then I just finished up with this green color for my green balloons. Now you can see there's quite a bit of a mess happening on top of that stencil. And you do want to be careful if you're doing this, because if you pull your template off while all that powder is still on there, a lot of it might go onto the gel plate. So to make sure that doesn't happen, I am using my little rag here just to wipe that extra powder off of this little template here. And it's just a paper template. The paper I used is 110-pound Nina white cardstock. To pull my print for this, I'm using a bright blue and a lake colored blue. They're both matte acrylic paints. I put a decent amount down, but I did have to kind of get it fairly thin, so I was going back and forth quite a bit just to thin it out and also to blend those colors together. So take your time on this part. If you know the ink is kind of blobby, just keep going until it's nice and smooth. And then when I was letting this one dry, I let it dry for about 3 minutes, and that made a really good impression. You can see there's leftover balloon print on the gel plate. It looks like I didn't even pull anything from the gel plate. So then the cool part about the pastels is you get quite a few uses out of just applying it one time. So this is that darker background color that I had used. The blues, it was kind of dark, so those matte colors did get a little lost. The pink almost looks a little purple. So for this second or ghost print that I'm gonna do. I'm using a seafoam blue color, so a much lighter blue, to see if I use a lighter color, will that help with the pastels. And I do want to make sure it's a fairly thin coat on the plate. I did allow this one to dry for 3 minutes as well, so the same amount of drying time. And this print pulled up just as nicely as the other one. It will be lighter because it is a ghost print or second generation print, but it was still, I liked it because it went well with the background kind of blue color. So the pearls were still pretty shiny. You can see on the green balloon ones and even on the pink ones. The copper one wasn't too shiny anymore, but again, I like the faded muted color of that. So this is just to kind of show you two totally different looks from just inking up your plate one time with the pastels and the perfect pearls. So totally different. You see the orange one at the bottom there on the right, on the dark blue one. I thought that looked so cool. Now, because those balloons on the darker colored ones were getting a little bit lost with the pastel colors, I took this gold marker that I have and I just kind of added some designs and outlined each of the balloons. And that, I think, it just made it pop off the page more. Again, for those of you that don't like all the glitter and the glitz, maybe a black marker would be another option. I did think about doing a black as an option, but I really wanted the paper to kind of have a shimmery effect to it. I like using these papers for some envelopes to dress up my card giving, or for my I'll cut them down and make cards with them. The paper that I use to pull these prints is a copy paper that I have. It's a kind of a shiny copy paper, and it's a 24 pound. I did like how adding the gold detail also made the balloons have a little more of their own personality, because they are the same balloon over and over again. So by doing this, I was able to give them a little bit of a different detail. And I really think that made them kind of pop off the page a lot better. And again, I liked it both ways. I did like it where before I did the gold, but I was really wanting to see how the gold would look if I pull out the images that way. I did not do that on my ghost print, because again, I liked the ghost print as is. It had the subtle colors and I liked the subtleness of that one. So for the bold one, I wanted a little more boldness on it. So again, two totally different feels for these completed Gelli prints. It was just the one time inking it up, and I got these two cool prints. I could probably even do a third print, maybe with a white on the background. I didn't try that yet, but I'm sure that would look good as well. So hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Happy crafting, everyone.